Perry. Welcome to Runaway Homestead. Coming to you live from our basement where we have our exercise equipment. Doesn't mean we use it. I do use this. And that's our teeter. Helping my back to stretch out. Pretty relaxing. But I just thought really that would be a pretty cool move to see on our videos. I'm like a big kid, ain't I? Anyhow, I just thought that would be a interesting start for a video. I'm back. I'm off of that teeter. I am up on the roof, putting a roof over the deck on our tiny house here. At least I got a breeze, but we need rain bad. It's hit all around us for the past couple of weeks, but not much here. I don't know if you can see how brown the yard is back there. I'm up here trying to finish this roof up, and can't see for the tree, but Kim's over there. She's been cleaning on the garage for a couple of days, long overdue and needed. Got to get the canning jars and everything that we need. But anyhow, I just wanted to check in and say, hey, not a whole lot going on other than maintenance stuff around here. So I got to get back to getting this metal roof down, and I'll try to check in again later. Thanks for coming along. There's my progress on our honey house. I said little house, but or tiny house, but actually honey house hopefully for processing our honey. And that roof is a standing rib metal roof, very nice roof. That a very gracious neighbor told me don't buy any roofing, he was going to supply it. And things are just a little better like that in the country. So as you can see up on the right hand corner, I've still got more to do, and get back to that tomorrow. If you haven't been here before, I'm Perry. I'm glad you're here. I was coming out to the pond to cut some willows to make some rooting hormone. It has just been super dry here, so I got a couple of trees that don't look so good. So rather than the rooting hormone right now, I'm going to be setting some buckets with holes drilled in the bottom of them to water these trees so that the water can go in slow and do what it needs to do instead of just running off this hard surface. So I'm going to grab a bucket and start bailing water out and going and filling these buckets by my trees. I'll have to, excuse me, throat's kind of dry. Take two. I'll have to keep up with this for several days for sure. Hate to lose my trees. The small red maple was a tip as a gift for a butternut side table I made for a customer, and she was a redhead, and so I got a red maple as a tip from her. And the other's a pear tree. It's a couple of years old, but just super dry. We walk around the barn here, and I'll show you what it looks like, what the ground's doing, even in the shade. We're just cracking wide open everywhere. Some areas are larger than that out in the yard. It's been well over 2 weeks since I've mowed. not sure if you can tell how brown the yard's getting. A couple of green spots out here with a little bit of Bermuda, but just super dry. I was kind of surprised the trees being that dry caught me off guard. Anyhow, now I'm gonna go cut some willow cuttings to make rooting hormone so I can propagate some blackberries. And I want to do elderberry, but all the videos that I've seen, everybody does elderberries when they're dormant. So I'm gonna try some cuttings while it's actively growing and see if I can propagate some of those. So I'll be back with you shortly. I'm gonna go out here and cut some of these tender limbs and growth on the willow, and then blend them up probably and make a rooting hormone. So I'll be back with you shortly. I'm heading down to cut the branches off of this willow that you can see right here. And again, I'm just going to get young, tender, new growth. Now that all this is gathered, it is time to strip it all down and then decide whether I'm going to stick it in a blender, hit it with a hammer, or just cut it and stick it in the water. Well, I've been trying for about 3 days now to get this done, and I'm just now getting back to it. These are all my willow cuttings, and I've watched numerous vlogs on this, and I like M.I. Gardner's way. He puts his in a blender. I've seen people hit them with hammers. Some just cut them up in about 2-inch pieces. Let them soak for several days. Some soak for several weeks. I tried this years ago when I just cut long pieces, put them in a jar, and I capped it, and they just kind of fermented, and it was just nasty. Didn't work well. And so I learned through M.I. Gardner that you got to keep the top off or it will ferment. So I believe I'm going to try his way. Stick it in a blender, and then you shake it. You let it sit for 24 hours, and then you put the top on and shake it about every 6 to 8 hours. So I'm gonna get started here. I've been trying to do this, like I say, for about 3 days now. So I'm gonna try to finish this leg of it up. Dinner time. Nice big quiche. Okay, here we go.
You have to turn the power on.
One video I watched said it should be about 3 to 1 water to 1 part willow. I think I'm a little more than that. All right, I'm going to be taking the top off of that. Let me turn my phone. I mess that up all the time. Where am I supposed to go?
That's fine.
All right, there's my product. Gonna take the cap off. It's been blended, so creates a lot more surface area. I think he blended his quite a bit more. So I'll take the top off. We'll let it sit, and I'll shake it every 6 to 8 hours as he recommended. And when I am ready to go cut some of our blackberry, I will give this stuff a shot. I've been interested in propagation for a long time. I've just never really gotten into it. So it's time I try and share with you all how it works. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day, and I'll get you an update on this when I can. Michael Pratt, look what we brought back to Kentucky, and I'm loving it.